Hi everybody, this is Maya. I just wanted to add a little bit to what we were discussing in the Learning Lab and dive into how to work with images. I know a lot of people like to kind of create sort of like a slideshow effect. So we didn't really get to do this in the Learning Lab, so I wanted to go over this, and there's some other little details that people might want to use regardless of how many images you are working with. So I'm back in the same file that we were working on before, the same project. And so I also wanted to let you know that if you wanted, so I didn't have a folder specifically for photos because I didn't have a lot of those in the example that we were working with on Saturday. So if you wanted to, you can always create a new folder in here. And so how you do that, if I wanted to individually import these, is I would press this little folder icon down here, and that would give me what they call like a new bin, and that's where I would put all of my media into. Since I already have mine arranged in a folder really nicely marked photos, I'm just going to import that entire photo. So I can right click import, and then I'm going to navigate to where I have that saved, which is on my desktop. And so now all of my photos are in here. Another thing, I'm actually going to start a new sequence because if you don't have video, you just have photo, you're going to want to set up your sequence to be the correct dimensions for like a YouTube video. So we're going to, again, right click and search, oh, actually, new item, and then sequence. You could also, there's a couple different ways to do this, but this is probably the easiest. Then let's go to HD 1080p, and these are frames per second. You don't really have to worry about this too much, just in terms of wanting to not have a super huge file. 25 frames per second is totally fine for what we're doing. And go ahead and name your sequence. So I'm going to say Maya's portrait with images. Okay. And so now I have a brand new sequence. Nothing is on there. And so I can go in and start bringing in some of my images. And so one thing, I just pulled these off of my phone. So you'll see a lot of them. I can just double click so you can see them in the viewer. Are vertical images, and you know I'll pull them in so you can see. But really, it's better to have images that look like this because they'll fill up the like your workspace. You know, this frame a little better. But anyway, so I can just drag them into the timeline, and then I can also change the length of the clip. So right now it's at about 5 seconds. I could make it 10 seconds long. Similarly, when we go up to effect control, so right now you can see because of the resolution of the image, it's coming in at 100%, and it's you can't actually see the whole image here. So I'm going to go into effect controls and scale it down so that we can see the whole image. Okay, it's kind of locking on there. Let's see. I guess 50% looks pretty good if we went lower than 50. Yeah, then you're kind of getting some space, like some bars on the side, which maybe doesn't look so great. So we can bring that back up to 50. And then with scale selected, I can also, because this is not quite the same dimensions as the screen, I could move this around. Like maybe I don't, this is not the best photo, but you know, maybe then the tree sort of dead center, and the deer can kind of be centered too. So you can move that around. You know, you can change the opacity, so you could layer these if you wanted to, layer them on top of video. So lots of different options there. Another thing you might want to do is rotate an image. So if you wanted to do that, you can use this little slider here, or if we made it smaller, you could also, I believe, kind of move over here, and you get like a little arrow that you can drag it and move that around like that. So I'm going to bring this back to 0. And so you can put in, so like if you wanted it exactly 25 degrees rotated, you can put that in there, and get something exact. And then scale, let's bring that back up to 50%. Great. Okay, so as I mentioned, where is this now? Did it get deleted? There it is. We are very zoomed out. Oh, it got very small. Okay, let's make it bigger. 10 seconds. Okay. So comparing that to, say, this image of a flower, when I pull that into the timeline, oh, I had the in out very short up there. That's why it's so small. Oh, so that's not even 5 seconds. That's very short. Let's see how long that is. Oh yeah, that's very short. Okay, we'll probably want to make that a little longer. There we go. That's better. Okay. So we have our deer, and then we have our flower. And so you can see that this is one way to incorporate a vertical image, is so that it fills up the whole screen. This actually looks kind of nice. But if I wanted to get more of that flower in there, again, it has sort of zoomed in because of the, whoops. You have to make sure you have selected your clip there. I can also bring this back down, but then, you know, I have this problem that I have some space on either side. So 20%. And then we can click on it, click on scale, and then we can make this bigger. Okay, so something we can do is you could layer this. So I have this image, and then I could I could actually move it up so that it would be on the top layer. And then I have, I believe, another image that is horizontal. Let's see. Yeah, this one's horizontal. So I could bring in this image and layer them on top of one another. So that way I don't have this this sort of blank space on either side. So that is something that you can play around with. Let's see if I can get into something really complicated. So you can make masks so that this is actually not like a square shape, which might be kind of interesting to play around with. You kind of move it. So this is these are masks around opacity, and I made this little ellipse mask. It looks like you can also draw it freely. You might want to do like a YouTube tutorial around this, because I don't have a ton of experience working with masks, but I did think about that. Oh, and I think this would be if you wanted it to fade. Let's see if we do this. Mask feather, maybe. Oh yeah, I have brought it beyond the edge of the photo though, so I need to shrink it back down, I think. And maybe move it over a little bit. There we go. So you can see that I have started to create sort of like a fade out effect at the edges. There we go. So that one kind of fades into the other. So those are kind of fun things that you can play around with. And if you see something here, you can always Google or YouTube search and find out, what those different things mean and how you can use it. But masks might be a kind of fun way of working with images. Let's see if when it plays through. Yeah, you kind of get this interesting effect. So that's sort of some fun stuff that I wanted to share. Another thing you can do is you can play with position over time. So let's say I have another vertical image. I think it's this one. Let's see. Yeah, okay, we'll pull this one in to the edge here. And make sure I have that selected so that I am editing that clip. Scale it down a little bit so that it's visible. Okay, and so then position, so make sure that either position or scale is highlighted so that when you click on it, you can drag it. But I can drag this up to sort of the edge of the image. Let's see where it is. The edge, there it is. Okay. So we'll keep it there. And so I can toggle the animation on this. So we can have it move, let's say starting at the beginning of the clip. Oop. Well, regardless, this will give us, here we go, the very beginning. Okay, so I can toggle this on. So I've got my keyframe and it's basically saying this is our starting position. And then I can go to the end of the clip and then move, let's see, move this. I might have to do it this way. Let's see. Yeah, okay, move it this way. So I'm just dragging this number that's the position up. Okay, I think this should work. Let's see. There we go. So I've created an animation for this vertical image. I think those were the two main things I wanted to look at. Similarly to the video clips, you can then go in and play around with like colors and filters. So as I said, the easiest way for me personally is to just change workspaces and go to the color workspace because it pulls up all of the menus for you right away. Um, and so similarly, you have your basic correction where you can sort of do things on your own, and then they have the creative, so you can go in and, choose, um, some kind of more interesting um, filter on there to change up the colors. Um, and then, you can add in your music, your audio, and as I mentioned, also, if you do have a, let's say you have a video that you want to kind of bring on there. So I just realized I'm in the wrong menu here. I don't know why it took me back to that one. Let's see. Our footage. We could bring in the waterfall and layer that, and maybe then change the opacity. Oops. Edit, undo. You can see what I did just there is I was editing the mountain and not the waterfall, so I'd make sure that that is highlighted. And then actually that will be kind of like a crazy thing because both of them will be moving. We can see what that looks like. Yeah, it's kind of wild because both images are moving. That could be kind of weird, but you can play around with stuff like that and see what you like. So that's it for playing around with images in Premiere to create your video. And again, just reach out to me if there's anything else you'd like to know how to do.